Hi, it's Wayne. I've been asked to do a little presentation on smart Wi-Fi switches which you can use to control your HMO heating, other features such as lights, etc., or your service accommodation. There's various products on the market like thermostat which allow you to set stuff, but then when you leave the property you've got no control until you return. Lets the tenants boost the temperature, but you can't do anything, you can't see what's going on remotely. You can do it a damn sight cheaper without using Nest at 180 quid or thermostat, which I think is the same price. You can do it by buying some Sonoff modules, linking them together, put them on an app on your phone, and then controlling the system, and so much more cheaper. You don't really need to be an electrician to fit them, you just need to know where wires go, but if you understand the principle you can always get a proper pucker electrician in to do it. So let's have a look at some of the modules we've got. The basic building block is just a simple switch. Mains goes in, mains comes out, it's controlled say on via Wi-Fi in the house and then onto an app on your phone, and literally if you press on or the timer kicks in on your app, the device goes on. You can control security lights with that, you can control the boiler, you can control what you like, but it's a fairly simple on-off system. They are 6 or 7 quid each. You could fill up a house with these and do all sorts of crazy stuff, and they are cheap as chips. The similar module, but it's actually fitted out as a plug socket. That's the same beastie, but you can plug in what you like. It's got an override switch on it. In this particular case, it's now running my Dremel, but it usually runs my fish pond pump. If you want to override it, press the button, on comes pump, and we can control the same. We'll see in a minute off an app. The next module up is pretty much the same, but it's got a probe which either can measure air temperature, or we'll see in a minute, a bit of water temperature or a bit of coffee temperature. And then this module I'm going to talk a lot more about today is a 4-in-1. It's 4 of these boxes in a nice box. Mains goes in at the bottom. This is almost a direct replacement, size, shape and ins and outs, as a hot water and heating time clock that's already fitted to your boiler. So you could take out your current timer, fit that in, put the wires in the same places, and you've now got a controller that you can operate remotely, but also the tenant will have override or boost facilities via these buttons. Let's pretend I'm a tenant, boost the heat in, on comes temperature, sorry it was already on, I've just turned it on now, and off, water on and off. So let's look at the basic module. We already spoke about the one on the wall, there it is there. On my list of configurable devices, I have got fish plug, there it is. So I could be a million miles away, I want my fish to get some water, it's literally that quick. Or off. And then if I click through onto it, I get some selections at the bottom, schedule, timer and sharing, so I could give the access control to a member of staff. And in this particular case, it's programmed to go on at 9 in the morning, turn off at 10, turn on at 10 o'clock and off at 12:30, midnight minus 15. Let's get this right. Okay, that's as simple as it gets. That's really easy. The very clever thing about this system though that I really like is you can get an app off Google, connect the two together, and not only have it on a timer. If there's one app called Time of Day. If you've got it connected to your security lights, rather than them just turning on at 8 in the morning, off on at 8 at night and turn off at 8 in the morning, it's not much good in summertime. There's an app that does time of day. So if in the winter your lights will come on earlier when the sun goes down, and vice versa, without any detection like a PIR. It just knows that the sundown time in your locality is 6 o'clock, and your lights will be activated. You can link modules together, so if the security cameras are, if the lights are turned on, then therefore you want the security cameras on as well at that time of night. On they come. They're all interconnectable, so you set a scene. If module 1 is on, module 2 wants to be on. Your imagination is basically all that limits it. So let's look at the second unit, which is the temperature control version. This again could be on a timer, so if this was running a boiler, it's a very simple boiler operating control. You would set this in and out, mains out to your boiler. If your timer circuit that you will set on the module in a minute is on, the boiler comes on. This would be your standard remote temperature that's on the boiler. In this case we're going to use our own just to demonstrate. So which one's that? Salop temperature. If we click through onto that, Currently the probe is at 23 degrees. I have got the temperatures to switch on at below 26 degrees and off at 35 degrees. So very cunningly I brought my coffee out and we're going to chuck it in there, and the temperature should come up. It might take a few seconds to sort of catch up, heat the probe up. There we go, it's happened already. So off goes my boiler, and then as the house cools down by dropping it into some cold water, down comes the temperature. You can monitor this remotely, and we'll just watch the app, the box as well. Remember on this one the temperature changes at 26, so we're nearly there. And on goes your boiler. And then if you decide that the tenants are a bit warm or they're moaning, you can click through onto auto. Oh, I just turned it on a manual. There's your temperature controls. You can decide what temperature the tenants get. Now where this replaces thermostat and the like, you've got absolute control of temperature, durations, what time do you want the boiler to come on remotely from phone, but also on each box there is, let's just put this on the right setting, there is an override switch. So you paint all this black, you put on boiler on, doop, boiler off, boiler on, and then using the timer control, when they press the button you set how long they want for. So when it boosts 2 hours, 2 hours later the box turns off. These boxes, this one is 12 quid. Do you think it matters if they damage it? You just reprogram another one. If you want to be really keen, you could program one of these simple ones, which is 6 quid, put that on the wall somewhere pretty, press button, turns this one on, heating goes on, and again, if they damage it, smash it up, it doesn't matter. You could even put one in every room. Wherever they press the button, heating goes on for the time that you set on the device. So that's all really nice and simple. Let's have a quick look at this bigger box. So this is basically 4 of those boxes in one. So I'm going to put this on my latest SA house. Top one will be for heating, second one will be for hot water. I'll probably use the outside lights front and rear so that they've got complete simple control over the facilities in the house. This one has got a nice little all-in-one panel. So if I press off on that one, off goes channel 1, which is the heating. And so forth. You can click through onto all of those. You can see I got bored at this point and I'll call that one sex toys and vibrators. So on goes your vibrator. Oh, it helps if you don't have clumsy fingers when you're on the phone. Right, and again the same would go. You've got these override buttons, bounds this all up nice and prettily, heating on. So I'm going to use this one in one particular SA house where the timer, and we can click through and do timers on all of these. Now it's up in settings. Anyway, set the timer for the heating to basically run for, and this is the really clever thing for SA. Set the timer to run quite generously because it's a service accommodation house. It'll be on late into the night, shut off at 1 o'clock in the morning, it'll come on 8 o'clock in the morning, it'll stay on till midday. But sooner or later there's a day when they leave, and there may be a Sunday when there's nobody there. You can actually link it in to your Google Calendar, and if you show occupation on your Google Calendar, then the heating runs as normal. If the property is empty, then the heating doesn't work at all. Or if your guests are arriving at stupid o'clock, like 3 in the morning, you can boost your heating for them before they arrive. For themselves, if the heating isn't on, they just walk up this control panel and think, oh, I'm a little bit cold, I'm going to boost the heating, and then it will turn on and stay on for the period that you program it for. That box there is 25 quid. So using all these pieces, you don't need to use them. You could just run your heating off that one, 12 quid. You could do it as simply as switching it on and off remotely using your app for 6 quid, or you can do a lot more playing around in the house for 25 quid. So put together, how do you wire it in? Simply get your Sparky in because it is mains, but literally it is, look, power in, power out, as simple as that. If you know which way end is live and which way is neutral, don't advise you to do it if you're not an electrician, but it can be done very, very quickly and very simply. I don't think I've got anything more to add. If you've got any questions to ask me on this, it's Wayne at HMO Daddy. No, it's not. I used to work for them. Wayne at hmodeals.co.uk, and look forward to hearing from you. Thanks very much.